What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Hot Mike Sports. I'm your host, Ben Merrick. Super pleased to have you guys back for the third episode of Hot Mike Sports. So thank you guys a lot. Ton to get into today. Yesterday was a huge day in sports. Really just the football world. Nothing happened in basketball, but Le'Veon Bell was released by the New York Jets, which if you watched my last video, I talked about the Jets trading Le'Veon Bell, which obviously didn't happen. They cut him right away. They said they couldn't find any trade partners, which was weird, saying that news broke yesterday. So they had to have been working on this for weeks now, because they wouldn't give up after a couple hours. And that also shows that teams don't want Le'Veon Bell. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but the fact that a guy like Le'Veon Bell in 2 years could go from a household name, number one running back, to not even being traded for. It is probably mostly in part to that contract. Like I said last video, I think I made a mistake. I said $6 million. $16 million fully guaranteed dollars. Paid $1 million every Thursday in cash. He's rolling in the money right now for no production virtually. He's still going to make that money. Like I just said, fully guaranteed. He's not on a team right now. He's making $16 million this year to not play for the Jets. He was happy to be gone after the news broke. He tweeted some like prayer hands or something like that. He seemed ecstatic to be gone, which why wouldn't you? I mean, he's making this much money to not be on an 0-5 team. He can sign anywhere he wants now, make that bonus money, and be on a contender, possibly get a ring. I mentioned last video the Cardinals, the Bills. I honestly don't remember the third, but a new team is emerging. Oh, the Bears. But a team that needs to be mentioned is the Patriots, who this year have had a very, very strong run game. You can add Le'Veon Bell into that, make it more of a committee, and just absolutely dominate any run defense. The only problem with that I see is Belichick not wanting that cancer, especially after the AB experiment, or Le'Veon Bell wanting too big of a contract, too big of a role, in which at this point probably just isn't deserved. He hasn't earned it back. So we'll have to see who he signs with. I honestly, if he's looking for a contender and a decent amount of money, he's not going to get that deal this year. He's going to be sitting until the offseason, because the only teams that will offer him a deal, like I could see the Giants offering him a deal. I don't see any teams really giving him a solid offer that he would seriously consider, because he's full of himself. If he's going to sign with a contender, it's going to be on a 1 year, $5 million deal, fully guaranteed. And he won't be the superstar back that he thinks he's going to be. So there's a lot to that. I think also with this, Adam Gase will be fired. If not like today, he'll be fired after they lose again inevitably this week. I don't even know who they're playing. Just assume that they're going to drop to 0-6. It'd be really embarrassing if they didn't drop to 0-6 after I said that. But yeah, Le'Veon Bell, he's out. Good for both parties at this point. Actually, I don't really see why the Jets did it. I mean, tank for Trevor, I guess, but saving them, it's not saving them money. The only thing is that they just couldn't find a trade asset, so they just kicked him out. Like he's not better than Frank Gore. I don't understand, but I guess it's just New York Jets brand of football. The last thing I wanted to talk about, it's going to be kind of a shorter video, I think, depending on how long I go on this topic. I wanted to talk about the next NBA season. This upcoming NBA season has potential to be the best we've ever seen. One of the best we've ever seen, for sure. And I know we were saying that going into this year, but things didn't go as planned. The bubble was great. It was a fun season. But teams had the Lakers or the Clippers winning the chip going in. This upcoming year, I want everyone to realize how many, not even just playoff contenders there are, like legit championship contenders, right? Miami and the Lakers are obvious ones. The Bucks, fully healthy with Giannis Antetokounmpo on your team, you're a championship contender. Now, I don't know what's going to happen after this year, but for this year, they look like a strong contender. Teams like the Clippers, who I've never seen a more important season for a franchise. If they don't win a championship, or at least go to a championship, it's over for LA. The Clippers, that is. George is out. Kawhi is out. Montrez is out this summer. Luka will be out next summer. That means your best player is Zubac. They can't afford anyone this summer. That's legit what will happen is your best player will be Ivica Zubac. That's like worse than the worst Clippers team ever. And they have been historically like one of the worst franchises ever. This is like the biggest do or die season for a team that can go from championship favorites going into this year to nothing. Nothing at all. The worst team in the NBA by far. So super interesting season for them. Brooklyn, obviously, 2 top 5 players in the NBA. Kyrie's not top 5, sorry. But 2 top 3, top 4 guys at your positions. That team is very well equipped. And people could argue better equipped than the Lakers because you have guys like Caris LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan. Like a legit competent team around you rather than like Rajon Rondo being your 3rd best finals player. I mean, obviously we have free agency still to go through, the draft still to go through, but just looking forward, this upcoming season is going to be great. And then that's not even to mention the playoff contenders. 1 through 8 in both conferences for the first time in a while will be very solid. We haven't seen anything from teams like the Bulls, who fired Jim Boylan, got a new GM. This Bulls team is a serious playoff contender, not a championship contender. But they will slide in there and maybe be an 8 or 7 seed. And you got on the West, we haven't seen anything from New Orleans. When Zion is healthy, that team was scary. Memphis, they're going to develop. Denver Nuggets, if Jamal Murray plays like he plays in the bubble, he's a superstar. And that team is scary. That's a possible championship contender. Another championship contender, sorry, I forgot. Boston. Jason Tatum has progressed every year. Jaylen Brown was damn near an all-star last year. Expect that from him this year. Kemba Walker, obviously, great point guard. And I expect them to have money to fill out that roster a little more. And Philadelphia 76ers, new head coach. Brett Brown was just not a good head coach. We all knew that from the beginning of the process. He's not a good head coach. You get a guy like Doc Rivers, who Tobias Harris has been forgotten about on this Philly team. Tobias Harris was at his very best. He earned that max contract when he was with the Clippers. And the person that coached the Clippers that brought Tobias Harris's best out is Doc Rivers. This signing allows, not saying this will happen, Tobias Harris could emerge back to the player he was. He said he wants to keep Ben Simmons, he wants to keep Embiid. You got Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris at his best, and Joel Embiid. That is a championship contender. They need to fill out the roster with more shooters, but Doc Rivers has had guys like JJ Redick. He's had these guys. He's had such a long legacy in the NBA. He's connected with the guys he wants, and he can afford the guys he wants on this Philly team. He'll have to dump off Horford and guys like that, but this team could be scary going forward. There's like 7 or 8 championship contenders going into next year. I know I missed some. And leave them in the comments because I would love to talk about it in the next video. This is a super interesting topic. But, last one. Golden State. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and a top 2 pick. We don't know what they're going to do with that pick. If they package Draymond in that pick, package Wiggins in that pick, they will be getting a 3rd star. Maybe he's not a superstar. They'll be getting a star. That team is just as dangerous as they were when they were the Splash Bros. Only problem is that starting 5 isn't filled out the way it was, and the game of basketball has changed. But this year, upcoming, will be the most exciting year the playoffs will be amazing to watch. There won't be a bad series unless the team is hurt. You got playoff contenders. Indiana is going to be a solid team. Portland is going to be a solid team. So many solid teams out there. The only teams that actually suck are the Knicks and the Hornets. Outside of that, I could legitimately see any team making the playoffs. It's going to be a fun year, and I feel like it could be the best NBA season we've had. I mean, we could be riddled by injuries, where LeBron goes down, Kawhi goes down, but it should be fun. There'll definitely be a lot of storylines. I mean, like I said, do or die for the Clippers, do or die for the Bucks, possibly even do or die for the Lakers, saying that now it's definitely not as hard as the Clippers and definitely not as hard as the Bucks. But saying what kind of deal Anthony Davis is expected and then thinking that LeBron James has a decision to make with his player option, this could be the year that they re-sign, or this could be the year that they say, after this, I'm out of here. Huge years for everyone. We'll have to see if the Nets experiment works out. If Jason Tatum can emerge into a contender for an MVP going forward. And don't forget about my favorite team to watch, the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, damn near took down the Clippers. Should have. And when they're at their best, they are a top 4 team. In the West, at least. So, a lot to look forward to next year. I'm super excited to have this channel during the off season, during the draft, when things start to shake up. There's a lot of trade rumors around CJ McCollum, Victor Oladipo, the number 2 pick. D'Angelo Russell's been thrown in rumors, Ben Simmons and Embiid. I would absolutely love to see what happens with you guys and talk about it every day. So if you could, just subscribe. Follow my Twitch. I hope to get those streams going soon, but I can't promise anything. But I would love to get them going soon. And comment, share. Appreciate it all, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.